Hey everybody, Ben here for the Bonehead podcast. We've got a channel update for you today. So, it's not a bad update. This is not one of those videos. We've seen Mini Wargaming and a couple of others drop it out recently, like Zorp, like, we need more to carry on. We're good. We're having a great time. We want to do more. That's what this video is about. We're going to be talking about the web shop, we're going to be talking about Patreon and memberships, and we're going to be talking about content. So if you're interested in the channel and any of those three things, like the content side, the shop side, or the Patreon side, pay attention because we're going to have some information for you. We're also going to look at what's coming up next on the channel. So Games Workshop dropped their roadmap a couple of weeks ago, right? And we did one up because we were like, oh yeah, well, that's cool, everyone's doing one, let's have a look. So briefly, the roadmap for 2025 immediately, because the Games Workshop looks back at 2024. So loads of podcasts, Blood Bowl news, team breakdowns, product reviews, live Blood Bowl games, Bonehead Championship tournaments, and breaking Milton out of jail. That's all staying. All of that is staying. Monday Night Blood Bowl has been the best thing we've done. It's been so much fun. So that is staying. So if you take one thing away from this video, tune in at 8 o'clock on a Monday night, because there will be probably Blood Bowl most weeks. We have holidays, sure, but most weeks is going to be Blood Bowl. Still to come this year, more of the above. Abso-flippin'-lutely, especially as we're waiting for the Chorf team to drop. So loads of Blood Bowl content still to come, and 7 Super Series as well. So as the Bonehead Championship wraps up this month, we'll be focusing on Chaos Dwarfs next month, and then we'll be jumping into a couple of months of 7 Super Series to end out the year. So if you like 7s, that's wicked. Those teams, some of those teams are going to carry over into the next Bonehead Championship. So if you're interested in 11s, might be worth paying attention to the 7s to see some of those players kind of brew up. Now, on this and beyond, even more to come, Blood Bowl stuff. There's going to be lots more Blood Bowl stuff. Lots of the same. Lots of what we do. Maybe other stuff. That's something that we're going to talk to you about in a minute, because when it comes to content, there's some other stuff we also want to look at, but it is not going to detract away from any of our Blood Bowl time. Okay, so this is the channel updates bit. We're going to, the more Blood Bowl, there's more better logo there. So us, sustainability and passion, the online shop, which we mentioned, content, more, and memberships, which all goes into your experience as a viewer. And before we go any further, we do this because we enjoy playing games, but we really, really enjoy sharing it with you guys. So whether you are a Patreon, a YouTube member, you view, you come and see us at tournaments, whatever, you hang out in the Discord, it doesn't matter. We love hanging out with you. We love making Blood Bowl content with you. It is so much fun. Like, I have been through a heck of a year. We've had Libby, things have been tough, things have been good. And I've had the community to hang out with and chat with, and just, you know, everybody has just been fantastic. And I consider the majority of you friends, because we're just united in this hobby, and there's a huge part about that, something I don't get the time to do as much as I want to. So this is where I guess the real talk stuff. So from a channel updates point of view, we have to look at us. So me, Ben, Trips, Milton, us as a crew, and then sustainability and passion. Monday Night Blood Bowl, we are super passionate about. We are loving, we are upgrading. We've got a camera turning up tomorrow that should hope, well, as this video goes out to the Patreons and the members, the camera should be here. So the camera should be ready to go for Monday, because you guys were amazing and helped us with super chats so that we could specifically buy the shoulder cam, so that when we're doing Monday Night Blood Bowl, we can change over and you can look at the pitch basically from the angle that a player is using it. Like, we want to carry on building up Monday Night Blood Bowl, whether it's 7s, 11s, whatever we do. I assume at some point we'll do some Dungeon Bowl stuff. It's just awesome. Like, we love it. This is what we've been building towards. So sustainability and passion for Blood Bowl, very, very high. But something that we have to look at is like all the time that we spend doing various things and what drives us. So for me, and mostly for the guys, the drive is making content. And I don't mean making content because I like to record a video and put it out. It's because I like to share stuff. I like to share stuff. I love to talk about Blood Bowl, and I want to share that so that the people who don't get a chance to talk about Blood Bowl, or just want to listen to someone talk about Blood Bowl for a bit, can do that. Like, I love that. I love that with the NFL stuff. I'm always like listening to stuff. It's just wicked. I like it. And I like to be that person who can, here's my ideas on this. And then people can go, yes, no, maybe. I think it's wicked. It's just so much fun. And that's something I love to do. And I know the guys love it as well. Making the game content is top for me. It is my favorite thing. Like, it is fun to play with tech, to play with cameras, to play with models. Doing the streams, to hang out with everyone in the stream has just been the best. It's been the absolute best. So when it comes to that, the content is absolutely the priority, because that's what drives us. That's what we want to do. We want to make stories and share them with you and make them together. That's what we're here for. That's what we love. So that brings us on to the online shop. You may have noticed over the last year, I mean, sure, the beginning of the year where I had Libby like arrive, that's fun, but it's been quieter on the channel than historical, right? Because yes, there's less to talk about because there's not a huge amount going on in the Blood Bowl world from a Games Workshop release point of view, but secondly, because we've had the shop, and I've tried to keep on top of the shop and couldn't. So Ben and Trips and Milton were like, right, let's split it up. Let's see if we can look after the shop together. And we can. But after doing that for a couple of months, and a massive thank you to anyone who's ordered with us, we've kind of come to terms with the fact that it takes an awful lot of time. Like, I want to say an awful lot of time. It's a manageable amount of time if that's your full-time job. Or it's to be honest with you guys, it takes me several hours a week to play with shop stuff, whether it's making prints, packing prints, dealing with whatever. Trips has been great at dealing with the emails. It's just hours of the week. Like, it may not be many hours, but now we've got Libby, Tiff and I, those are my hours that I would use to make Theory Thursday, to make the Top 5 Friday, like to do the videos that I really love doing. And the shop has been great at helping us with funds to upgrade cameras, to get teams, to do all that kind of stuff. It's been phenomenal. But it has come at the cost, really, of making the videos. Not quite daily videos, but, you know, I was comfortably doing 4 or 5 videos a week. And now I do 1 plus Monday Night Blood Bowl. And I'm there and I'm cleaning the prints. And I'm like, I really appreciate this person investing in the channel like this. But I'm making this order for one person who I greatly appreciate, when I could be making a couple of videos or a video for, you know, we got 20,000 people subbed. Like, maybe me doing a video will give, I'm not going to say 20,000 because, you know, views don't bother me, but like, it's going to be several thousand of you, whether, it doesn't matter what the video is about, that are going to be like, oh, Blood Bowl thing, or oh, what are the Bonehead guys looking at? Like, oh, I'll watch that for 10-15 minutes. Like, that's me having a chat with 2,000 people instead of spending my time doing a print. And it's not disparaging, it's just what of those two things, to go back a bit, makes me passionate. And it's about making the content, and with the guys, like, you know, it's that, like, an hour they could be spending painting something they want to paint, or hanging out, or seeing their families, or something like that. Like, it's just what our window of time is smaller now. Mine particularly is smaller now than it used to be. And what am I passionate about? And it's making the videos. So to come to the crux of it, the Bonehead shop, with regards to the majority of the 3D printed stuff, basically all the 3D printed stuff, with the exception of the Bonehead podcast Ogre, is going to go at the end of the month. We're going to stop the merchant licenses, and it's been awesome. It's been so great, and I really appreciate everyone who supported us by getting teams and things like that. We do have a friend who is looking to open their store in potentially November, who does some outrageously good quality prints, but they're not quite ready for it. But when they do go, then we will point them in your direction. We'll point you in their direction, because it's great stuff. But the irony is, I don't get a chance to do the print to pitch videos anymore. Because I'm using the printer to print orders. So it's like, well, it seems, again, it's just not where I want to invest my time. Other people can do 3D prints, so we'll send you their way. So a massive, I cannot stress, like, we must have printed thousands of Blood Bowl teams, and it's so cool that there are so many people out there who have got models that we've made. Like, that is wicked. But we need to focus back on the content, because that's what we do. And you know, again, thank you. Stuff like ball tokens, dice, the podcast model, stuff like that we will still have on the shop. So if you still want to support the shop by getting some loot or some podcast bits, we could do that. And the extra time that we're not spending doing the shop, we can do and spend time producing better Blood Bowl products, or doing something that we're just like, oh, what about this? This is cool. What about this? This is cool. Because we could spend our time kind of investing in that instead, if we need to, if we want to. And I guess that's the other thing, is we can then spend our time being creative, which is wicked. So at the end of this month, the end of September, the shop will close. We will man the email for a good few weeks after that. So if there's any problems, any missing parcels, Trips has done a cracking job catching up with everything. So that will come to a close at the end of the month. There'll be a limited few things on the shop, and that'll just be me dealing with it as it kind of used to be, so that we can spend that time painting teams for the next series, doing videos, stuff like that we kind of want to do. So I guess we can move on to the content part of the presentation. So we want to stop doing the shop so that we can spend that time doing the content. And I guess this brings about a little bit of a change in the channel. We will be focusing primarily on Blood Bowl, because Blood Bowl is the best. More Blood Bowl is more better. I'm hiding it, but that is absolutely right. But we want to do more. Like, we've really enjoyed telling the stories as part of Monday Night Blood Bowl. You guys have been fantastic, and it's been so much fun doing that. But we love playing games, and we want to play some other games on the channel that will not generally take up the Blood Bowl wavelength, will not take up the bandwidth for Blood Bowl. Monday Night Blood Bowl will basically always be Blood Bowl, unless there's something really cool we want to do instead for a week. Like, that's just how it goes. So over to the next slide. The game content plan. September, we're wrapping up Bonehead Championship 2. October is going to be Bonehead Bowls and the Chorfs coverage. So Bonehead Bowls are a tournament with mixed teams. Depending on when the Chorfs land, we might get mixed teams on Monday Night Blood Bowl or 2. We'll prioritise Chorfs where possible, though, for October. And then we go into November and December with Super 7 Super Series 4. Then we go into January with Bonehead Championship 3. And some of the teams in 7s will be transferring over to the Bonehead Championship in January, which is going to be really cool. So you're going to see those teams start as a 7s team and then develop up into 11s so we can build up some of those bigger fans. But I talked about us wanting to share more stories. Now, we're gamers, we love playing games, so there's a few games there that we've talked about in the past that we want to play some games and put them on the channel for. So One Page Rules, The Old World, Armada, Space Hulk, Necromunda. There's just a few games there that we want to do some videos for, because making the content for those sounds like fun to us. And I know best that, like, doing this, then going here to do this, you learn stuff here that you can then bring back to here. So, like, we're going to start, hopefully, by doing a couple of One Page Rules videos, because I've not filmed a battle video, and I think that'll be fun to do, and I think I'll probably learn some stuff doing it that I can then bring back when we look at Bonehead Championship in the future. Like, that's what I want to do. Space Hulk is something I'm very excited about, because I want to tie that with One Page Rules, because been printing some cool terrain, and I think, oh, that's fun. Like, if we're not doing the shop, I can use the printers to print some cool terrain, and we can have some stuff. The stadium, for example, I've not been able to do because the printers have been in use. Get the printers back once the shop closed, I can print all of our stands, and all the models you guys have sent, we can get on there, so that when we're doing Monday Night Blood Bowl, you will see the stadium full of your models. Like, this is the stuff that we want to do. That the 3 is a stretch. Like, maybe 3 across the week, 3 hours worth of stuff across the week is spent doing the orders instead of doing the creation, and that's where we want to be. So I guess the highlight here is that Blood Bowl will be our primary. We will still do videos about Blood Bowl during the week. We will definitely be doing the games on Monday Night Blood Bowl, and depending on how it goes, we might end up doing a couple of games of Blood Bowl if we start doing the filming as well. So inside Ben's head, I want to do the One Page Rules stuff, so I can find out if there's a way that we can then film 7s in an editable, like really smooth editable way, so that we can potentially have Monday Night Blood Bowl live and have a 7 series or something that goes alongside it in places. I just want to learn, because when you've got a tight window of stuff, the only thing you can really do is the same thing over and over and over again, which is cool, but I'm an iterative kind of person. And I want to do some product review videos for stuff that isn't Blood Bowl, because there's some really cool stuff out there. One Page Rules I'm really enjoying. I'm really enjoying because it's just cool sci-fi and cool fantasy that is just, it's just itself. It's just its own thing that I think is really cool. So I'll probably do some product review videos for stuff like that from a 3D printing point of view or whatever, just because I want to do something different and something fun. But it's not going to take away from Monday Night Blood Bowl. It's not going to take away from Blood Bowl gameplay. It's not going to take away from Blood Bowl news. It might take away a little bit from Blood Bowl strategy articles and stuff like that, but we've done a roster video for every team. Like, all that stuff is done. I want to go back and look at it, and I really desperately want to find the time to do inducements, because that is so big in my eyes. That's what I've been wanting to work on, honestly, for 6 months now. So this is where I can start investing that time in prepping all the slides and the graphics and everything for the next series that I want to do, which is, you know, the investment stuff, the inducement stuff, sorry. So that's where we are with the game content. Have I got anything on the next slide? I can't really remember now. Okay, memberships. So this is where we talk about YouTube and Patreon. Patreon have had an update recently that said the way we do the billing has to end. So we do because it's built around the podcast, we have a per release thing, which is like, so we do 2 podcasts a week. So you as a Patreon get billed twice a month. We do 2 podcasts a month and you get billed twice a month. Patreon's moving away from that. It wants to do a monthly membership instead. I love the idea of that. Like, when we started the Patreon, we were doing it as people who just did a podcast. We didn't do anything else. I think it's much cleaner to have just a monthly subscription cost. I just think it's smoother. But if you are a Patreon, like with everything I've just talked about with the time and stuff, historically, like, the Patreon has gone through so many changes that it's quite chaotic, and there's just bits from the past all over the shop, and it is messy as heck, and it gives me a bit of anxiety. So there's a couple of bits we're going to do. There will be a new Patreon, brand new, simple membership levels that will marry up exactly to the YouTube membership levels. So if you're a Patreon or a YouTube member, it will be about the same cost and the levels will be the same. If you are currently one of our Patreons, first of all, thank you so much for all of your support. Please come over to the new Patreon. But we will be closing the old current Patreon at the end of November. The reason we're closing it is because the billing method has to change. And I think it's a really good time to just start afresh. Within that, because there are so many different levels and tiers that we've had over the past, there will be a loot form that goes out in October and through to November, so we can sweep up anything that we've missed. So our Patreon guys get dice and tokens and stuff like that. If you haven't had them because we've not processed it, because Patreon, because I made it complicated, because it's evolved over the last 4 years, it's hard as heck to track. Like, it's not been great. So, and I haven't had the time to stay on top of it that I wanted to. So we're going to use this as an opportunity to say, right, we have to change the Patreon because of the billing. Let's make a new one, and let's make it an honest man of it, and make it really clear what the levels are, what you're getting. Because I hate, again, this probably plays into the shop thing. I hate the anxiety of, have I missed something? Is someone out there thinking, Ben, you haven't done this? And there's me, no idea, like I completely missed it. And I hate that. That really upsets me. So this gives us a chance to kind of reset. The dog next door hates it too, clearly. So October and November, the old Patreon will move away. The new Patreon will start at the beginning of October. And I think we can give free trials. So I'm going to look into that for the new Patreon. We'll get the loot form out in October, and we'll start sending the loot out in November. Basically, I'm going to have to reorder old loot. So loot form goes out, I get to reorder. Then we can start out brewing up a plan for new loot for 2025. Because well, we were let down by the Dice Shop. Dice Shop by dice.co.uk. Really, I was disappointed by that, because I was like, oh, these are great. They did them for our local club, and it just fell apart. And I was like, this is a bit rubbish. So actually, it gives us the time to do it properly, instead of like, oh, we need loot now, I'll just have to reorder the old loot. That's not very imaginative. We can do better than that, and we want it to be as good as we can. So old Patreon will close, new Patreon will come there, and I know that there will be some of you in the old Patreon that don't transfer over, and that is okay, because the new Patreon is there to just be as current as possible, and I wouldn't want people to just keep supporting us because they always have. I want people to support us because they want to be a part of what we're doing. And in the way of the part of what we're doing, these are likely to be our supported tiers as we move on. So in YouTube and Patreon, this is where we're going. Trips has helped me design these. Let's see if I can move my face. Goodbye face. There we go. So Rookie is our free tier. That's the free content. You'll get that on YouTube as it stands at the moment. The Veteran is the basic starter tier on YouTube members and Patreon, and this is where you will get early access to the content, the kind of way we've always done it with Patreon. So you'll get the podcast a day or two early, you'll get the other videos that we do a day or two early, and remember, with us reprioritizing content, there will be content, and it means we've got time to make specific content for Patreon and YouTube members only. So when it comes to the Space Hulk stuff, that's exactly the kind of thing I want to share with you guys, but at the moment I don't have time. So I'm like, oh, here's the diary, here's the build, this is what we're doing, here's the build diary for the stadium and the pitch and stuff like that, because that's what I want to be doing. So that's where that will be. So all those blue content boxes, all those levels, will get access to what we're doing and stuff like that. We're going to introduce a supporter question of the week for the podcast and things like this, because I want to try and make it easier for us to be in tune. I want to spend more time with you guys and be able to do that without having the anxiety of like, is this person waiting for loot because they're in one of the 17 historic Patreon tiers and the messaging system is trash. Like, I want to make sure that I can be I just want to be happy that you're getting what you want, like that you're getting what you pay for, because the support you give us allows us to do cool stuff, but I want you to be a part of it. And talking about being a part of it, you've got Veteran, which is the content access. There'll be Coach, which is the next level, which is where we will use you to help us create ideas, create names for players and teams and stuff like that. Like, that's our the coaches will be helping with the filling out, the being part of making the content. So Veteran is getting early access to it, the coaches are early access to the content, and like, these are the names, this is what we think we should do, here's the votes, here's the polls. That's where the action's going to happen. But for those of you that are really invested in what we're doing, and remember, this is not just Blood Bowl, this is going to be Blood Bowl and the other games that we do if we enjoy making them. This is the direction tier. So when it comes to doing a Bonehead Championship, we will go to the GMs. Hopefully we can call it the GM level. It might be management, it might be owner, but it'll be like, right, we've got 8 spaces for teams. One of them's going to be a vote on YouTube. One of them's going to be the winner of the championship. 2 of them have to be this. We've got 4 teams. Help us choose those teams. And then those are going to be the people who get to name the teams. And then most importantly of all, those are going to be the people who decide the skills of players in some of our series moving forward. So when it comes to sevens, we'll give you a sneak peek on how this is going to work. On a Monday Night Blood Bowl, we will do 1 public sevens game. Then we will switch over to a members only stream. The game will then come out at a later point in the week for everybody else for the free content. But like veterans, coaches, GMs, you'll be able to watch the game on YouTube and then flick over to the members only one, which is where you can watch the second game. And then it will be it'll be down to the GMs to decide the MVP. To decide the skills that we give them. Like, it'll be like, right, GMs, this team, they've got these level ups, go. That's going to be there every week. Like, you're going to have decisions to make for those teams. If you want to tank a team, you can start voting in there to be like, no, don't give them block, give them something else. Like, that's where the creative direction is going to be. That's the actual, like, right, it's the owners club, basically. That's how you want to do it. We want a pool of committed people who are like, we want to support and we want to help you decide the skills. Like, so we don't want the players to choose. We want to be like, right, we need to go to the owners here. We need to go to the owners, the GMs, and be like, right, what skill do you guys want to see on that Vampire Blitzer? Is it block? Is it strip ball? Is it dodge? What do you want to see on that? Boom. And then those people make the decision. That's what we want. Now, when it comes to loot, part of the simplification of all these tiers, there will be no loot. There will be no loot just from joining a tier, because that is it's not easy to organize using Patreon, and it's impossible using members. Hence why you're all getting a Google form if you're one of our members at the moment coming into October. What we will do, however, is make a discount code available for you for the shop, and there will be like Patreon only tier, only loot that you can get in the shop, and you get the discount code for it. So you can be like, oh, okay, I would like this mug, please, Ben. We put it on there. We put the mug on there for £25 for non-members. For you, it might be £5 or something like that. That's how we're going to do that. So if, you know, veteran, if you want to support the channel and be a member and get the content, but actually like, actually this month, I like that mug. I'm going to support the channel. I'm going to jog on and get the mug, and actually because I'm a member, I can get it half off or something like that. Or, oh, I want some Patreon dice. I log on to the Webstore. I've got my discount code from my coaches thing. I know I can get one of those for free. So jump on there, do that. Maybe I get an extra patch for someone else, or extra dice or something, or you just log on there, pay postage, and then we send you that. Keeps it all in the shop, which is magic. It does put the onus on you guys to be like, oh no, I want to go and get that, but it also means that if you don't want to get it, you don't have to. So that's fine. Again, this is about helping, honestly, helping me make sure that what we give you is exactly what you want, and we keep on top of it, because it upsets me when we don't. So, online shop is going to be closing at the end of the month. Thank you for everything, but we want to take that time and effort and put it into content. We're sticking with Blood Bowl through and through, Monday Night Blood Bowl, and hopefully we can start making some other videos in the week. But we will also, on the channel, you will see some product reviews, some thoughts, some news articles, some games for other game systems. Some weeks it might be busy on those systems, some weeks it might not be. And I know that some people are going to be like, what? I don't care about this. And they may leave the channel. That's absolutely fine. The channel is ultimately a creative endeavor for us, and we want to do some other stuff, because, to be entirely frank with you, Blood Bowl, it doesn't have a lot of news. And it's not that we're lacking in stuff to make, it's just that other news will come along that will inspire us to be creative and make something. And that's what it is. It's about like, right, Blood Bowl, 2 teams a year. Okay, that's 2 months of the year where we were like, this is amazing, this is new. That means we've got 10 months of the year where we're like, cool, we're loving playing Blood Bowl, and then we're like, ooh, there's some news over here. And actually, if we're interested in it, and we're going to be making the models and playing the games anyway, well, let's not have a little bit more fun and share it with you. That's my angle on that, and that's where the guys are as well. And memberships, old Patreon going away, new Patreon coming in. Patreon and YouTube members will be lined up. The loot will be separate, and we'll be sending out a retro loot thing in October. So anybody who's missing some stuff, we can make sure that by the end of the year, we get that squared away with you, so that in 2025, we can just look forward to just making it as easy as possible to make as much content as possible. Because as I put on this slide here, and I've hidden with my face, more content is more better, because that's kind of where we want to go with that. So that finishes my TED talk on the channel updates. It does. Sorry, it's a boring video, and it's probably like far too long, but I wanted to use this as a way to communicate to you guys as much as possible. I put a written statement like this on the Patreon, in the Discord, and on YouTube members as well, for those of you who don't want to hang out and talk about this. But put questions here, and let me know your thoughts, because we're just trying to make this as easy as possible for us to have a good time making content and sharing it with you, because that's what the channel is about. And over the last few years, it's got complicated, it's got bloated, but we've decided we do know what we want to be now, and that's a content channel where we make games, play games, share games with you guys, because that's fun, and that's what we want to do. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl and potentially other game content. Happy blocking.